paid to subscribers, so we're going to start with the dollar Swiss, and just really to say, not really a trade setup here, because what we were looking for is a SLC probe, and then we've got a technical level to work with, but we haven't really got anything to work with on the dollar Swiss. So that's fine. Note that the monthly pivot is at the SLC, or the SLC is at the monthly pivot. So I say at 92.26, one below is at 90.95. So it would be an idea to perhaps sell up here, where you can, trade off the monthly pivot to the weekly open. So you could look for a sell higher up potentially. It's worth noting that the yields are pumping quite a bit. VIX is also higher as well, so that can help the USD. That can help the dollar. So we might be looking a little bit of a pump potentially on the dollar pairs. So this might be okay, and we're looking for a short higher up. Okay, and I guess we can look at Aussie because we had the RBA, and it's going to be quite heavy. And once it loads, right? Well, it exceeded the 8-hour target long. I didn't realize. Okay, so that would have been a nice trade, but obviously we missed it. 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. So it came about 5:30 a.m. UK time. So had I woken up 4 hours ago, that would have been a really nice trade. Your stop loss would have been the monthly resistance, and your 8-hour target long was obviously a technical resistance. And so you're looking for, that would have been a nice trade, but I was so tired to stay, I couldn't get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Had you been awake, this would have been a nice trade. And so basically, just, oops, that way, isn't it? And so enter there, a TP, a stop loss there. And so, you would have got a 3-hour trade on that move. So that's fine. It's like a hindsight trade, not to worry. And that's been and gone. And that was the 8-hour target long, monthly resistance, double resistance there for AU. And I guess we can look at EU. And Volton's done some good analysis in Discourse, but be sure to check that. This is stop loss SLC probe. And how are we looking? We can delete this now. And 8-hour target long and SLC combination, so that could be a good place to sell because you've got a double confidence, got liquidity and 8-hour target long. We've really come very fast in less than 48 hours. Bit strange. So that's a potential scenario. So we can look at this tomorrow. Look for a sell at the 8-hour target long SLC combo at 109.50. So you're looking to sell there, and then you're looking to target maybe even SLC below. So there isn't anything really to be said here. You'll wait for that to be probed. Where your stop loss is, I'm not sure. So we wait for the stop loss plus to get probed first, and then we can potentially use the old SLC as our SL, because once it's got the liquidity, it might be job done. There is still some stops left above, actually. Quite a lot of stops, actually. It's going all the way up here. 110. Yeah, it's possible, isn't it? So yeah, no trade here right now because we might want to come up and get all that liquidity. It's quite possible, and 110 seems like a logical place where then you're going to sell at MR1. So I think we'll probably come and get that. We might disregard the 8-hour target long, and we might just want to pump and get that liquidity. So look for a sell, monthly resistance 1 to 110. So we've got quite a move still to go on EU, I think. However, like I say, the US yields are pumping, so it's going to be quite tricky. And we've taken out a big liquidity pool here as well. Huge, and it's quite historical. So quite tricky. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Because the yields are pumping, this can fall. So we might come down there, 108.80. And yeah, so it is tricky. So currently double resistance here. Whether or not we're going to come up here and then sell off, I'm not sure. So no trade set up there. It's quite mixed because we've got a liquidity pool being completely absorbed. Got a double resistance, and whether or not we're going to come up raid those stops, which then would mean if we did, then we're going to override the 8-hour target long. So very tricky EU. right now. Probably fairly bearish, to be honest with you, because of the double resistance. And one above cable 124. Well, let's say 125. It's quite a large SLC. One also here at 125.45. 8 target long. So it could be a trade potentially, but then the stop loss cluster is closed. So you'll see what I mean. It's not a good R. So we could have this as a stop loss. I did it again. Oh no. They're going to let me grab it. No, it's not going to let me grab it. That's annoying. And yeah, I mean, you could enter now. The stop loss there. And so you're looking for a 1-to-1 R, but you know, if you get the stop loss cluster below and then bounce, we're probably going to get stopped out. So because the stop loss clusters are closed, it's not really a trade setup, but 8 target long should be a good resistance. And see how we're fairly wicking quite strongly above. And unfortunately, if their stop loss cluster if it was further away down here, then we could probe it and get a 4R. So yeah, it's tricky, isn't it, really? Yeah, so no trade here. This is going to be a theoretical sell, I think. If only that stop loss cluster was lower, this would be an okay trade, and I would recommend taking it, and your stop would be there. So it's like a 33 pip stop, but this isn't anything to take, so don't take this. It's just an observation where we can probably come down to take that because of the technical resistance, right? NU, I guess. And look at dollar CAD. Yeah, so let's see any levels. Daily open, a good level to work off with. So you could trade this with a stop at the SLC. And we're going to target SLC below. This might be okay. Let's see if I get it right this time. So we're going to go. Oh, I don't know if we want to enter at market though, but so we can get a 3R trade. If you enter now, I'll buy this at stop. 30 pips. Yeah, it's 30 pip stop, isn't it? Yeah, it could be potentially okay. This might be okay. And what we'd need here is the indices would be topping out, which looks like it's a possibility because the retail guys got absolutely squished. How are we looking on the bubbles? I don't think this is a good one. No, it's not at all, because the Kiwi is strong and the dollar is weak. So really we should be coming up on NU. So this can probably come up to get the SL above. So it's very, very tricky. Yeah, perhaps we'll probably get that one above first. So we'll come back to this tomorrow. So there isn't any trade setups today so far. According to the bubbles, we should be going higher, but it's tricky, isn't it? Wow, look at dollar CAD. And so we're close to extremes as well. So you could look for a long here. We could look for a long to enter here at the SLC HR target. I'm not sure where your stop loss would be though. So we can put this on for sure. And probably maybe here, perhaps this place here. You're going to enter. Yeah, you're going to enter around about here to buy at 133.81 for a stop here, 133.47. Fairly wide stop though, so you know you're looking fairly 40 pip stop potentially. I think this should be an okay place. We are very much a sell at the big picture. We might just want to come and get that liquidity. So round about there potentially. So this won't be a trade, but just an observation. We can come back to it tomorrow. And really, I suppose we could continue to fall because of the sentiment, to be honest with you. And we might disregard the ATR target short. And we started dollar Swiss, didn't we? So might be okay. It's tricky. I think because of the fact that we're going to be potentially risk off by tomorrow, the dollar could perform okay. And that's what's causing a little bit of uncertainty. And the bubbles are possibly going to be naughty, and that dollar is going to possibly move over here because it might be pushed by fundamental flows, and risky currencies can probably come over here. It all depends on what happens with the risk appetite. So it's very tricky indices. So we are now going green. US slightly red. Hong Kong's quite red. China, negative. So yeah, it's a bit of a mixed picture today, I think. So probably one to be looking at tomorrow, I think, for clarity, and then we can see what we're looking at the risk calculation as well, because the risk calc didn't really move at all. If we go to our dashboard, it's a very insignificant shifting from last week on everything. So the dollar Swiss did indicate, a dynamic buy as well. The France 40 sell, but at the big picture it's a buy because the retail guys are net short. So yeah, I think it's just going to be one to maybe monitor today, and don't forget what I said about the risk on, risk off flows. This will fall if we go risk off, okay, and it was going to disregard the sentiment. So on our bubbles, Kiwi can do okay, but because if we go risk off, this can perform poorly. So you have to remember the fundamental flows. That's going to impact a risky currency like this, and we can fall. So we'll know whether or not the sentiment's going to be behaving today by checking this currency pair, and also checking the New Zealand USD and the New Zealand Aussie as well. So we'll know whether or not the sentiment's playing out by checking this. If this pumps, then the bubbles are going to be fine. And if this falls, then we know it's going to be a fundamental day as opposed to sentimental day. So no trade setups, because I think we're at we're at like a precipice of being risk off, for the fact that our risk calculation, and we can look at the indices as well. We pumped and we probably liquidated the bears. And because of that, we can probably be topping out a bit on the indices. So we are going a little bit red now with teaching on the US 500. If we do go really ugly, this was going to fall, and this is going to be a good one because we didn't take it. We've got a buy order here, so that isn't going to be a loss. Okay, so that's it. So sit on your hands today, and then we can look tomorrow, and there should be some nice setups that we can be using on the bubbles tomorrow.